Good evening, everyone. This is Peter Reddoch again with another episode of the Uncensored Truth. Today we have Pastor Tommy McMurtry with us today, and we are going to be talking about a very important topic, and we may end up doing like a brief mini-series on this, which is going to be current politics in light of the Bible. Now, Pastor, can you give a brief introduction for people who don't know who you are? Can you?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Pastor Tommy McMurtry, and I pastor the Liberty Baptist Church in Rock Falls, Illinois. Been pastoring here for about 9 years, and excited to be on the show.
Awesome. It's glad to have you here. Now, you are one of the current pastors, or one of the main pastors, who have been very politically active and outspoken, especially this past year. What has been your main reason for doing so?
They messed with me. I pray for my leaders. I pray that so they will help allow us to lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and honesty. And frankly, they interfered this year, and I don't appreciate that at all. So I'm not going to act like I'm okay with it. And thankfully, we have the right in this country to speak against those things and stand up against wicked leaders. And I'm going to make sure I do that. So, yeah, I got involved.
All right. So just to clarify, one of the main reasons that you were involved was with the state's shutdowns, correct? Especially in Illinois, where they were actually going after the churches itself, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I had a huge problem with the shutdown. I didn't think it was legal. I didn't think it was moral, and it was hurting a lot of people. And I just felt like, I need to use my voice and whatever influence I have to speak out against that, because it was hurting a lot of people. And I've talked to a lot of even local business owners that have suffered a lot from this whole thing. And then, of course, too, there were some churches that, really suffered as a result of this. Even locally, we had one church that just got hammered by the news media, not by the police, but by the news media. And the news media tried to get the police to mess with this church, and the police wouldn't do it. Thankfully, our local leaders have been good, but the news media is always garbage, and they kind of targeted one church and really went after them hard. And the negative media attention really freaked the church out and it ended up causing them to shut down. And I didn't like that, and so I thought, that church isn't the only church that stayed open. They're just the ones that got caught and got the media attention. And I figured, let's be open about this and, realize this is wrong. And I thought it was ridiculous. And it showed how brainwashed people were, that they even thought that the news media could, try to, or the, police could shut this church down. So it really shocked me, just the reaction, or, the government surprised me. I mean, I don't trust the government, but I never thought they'd take it this far, this quick. But I was even more shocked by just the American people and their acceptance of this. That really, really shocked me. And I'm not the type of person that when everyone seems to be in agreement on something that I think is wicked, where I'm just going to shut up. So I figured it's time to open our mouth on these things, and that's what I did.
Now, why do you feel that people have been in compliance on this?
Well, I think, one, they don't understand the government and how it works and where its authority is. They don't understand that powers that are out there, they have limits to them. And people don't understand how government works. That's all there is to it. And then, obviously, because people believed the news media on it. And so they, not only did they believe when it came to how dangerous this was, and, I don't want to downplay a virus, that's real. I don't want to downplay that. Obviously, for people that have gotten sick, this was, it was rough on them. It was difficult, but, It's not like COVID is the only sickness we've ever had go through the country and the only thing that ever will go through the country. In fact, if it were not for the news media, um, in Rock Falls, we would not know there was a major problem. My church wouldn't know there was a major problem. Now, we've had people that I know around here get sick. We've had a lot of COVID cases. I know some people that have had COVID, and it wasn't fun. But, getting sick never is fun. But, nobody's died of it. Nobody's sickness was anything that would have caused additional alarm, had it not been for the media hype. And that doesn't mean it's not really serious for a lot of people. I know that it is, but if it weren't for the news media talking about it, we wouldn't think anything of it, because it's not what they say. But people obviously did believe what the news media was saying, and felt that the government was looking out for our best interest, and that Fauci knew what he was talking about, and so they chose to go along with it. And that's just a fact. In our area, our local leaders have not been, from what I've seen, overstepping their bounds, unless there's something I'm not seeing. Yet most of the community is just in total compliance. And I think a lot of it is out of fear. A lot of the businesses, especially ones owned by corporations, those decisions have been made across the board, across the country, because, they're worried about their image. But when it comes to local businesses, we've got restaurants that are still opened up, even though they're not supposed to be, and nothing's happening. There's churches that are still open, even though they're not supposed to be, and nothing's happening. But most are, and a lot of it is because, because they just agree. They agree with the government on this. I don't. Some, it is fear of public backlash. And, I understand that, especially if you're a business. You got to make a business decision on, is this going to help me in the long term, or is it going to hurt me? And so I respect people's decision to open or close in order to protect themselves. I just don't expect the government's decision to make that decision for us. I don't agree with that.
And it shouldn't be the government's decision, because under our Constitution, the government is supposed to be there just as an overseer, but they are a servant of the people.
Right. Well, and the thing is, too, our state already had a pandemic plan. We already had a plan on paper, passed, if anything ever happened, and it gave the governor, the authority to declare an emergency for 30 days. Well, that came and it went a long time ago. And in that 30 days, he had quite a bit of power to do a lot of things according to our laws in our state. Well, thankfully, we have guys like Representative, now State Senator Darren Bailey, who, actually went and looked into these things and read the laws. And it's like, wait a minute, his authority only goes for 30 days. And actually went and challenged it. And the governor got shot down. I mean, the governor has been shot down on a lot of things, but the most places and most cities and counties are choosing to, obey his mandates, because our governor does not have the authority to just make a decision, some of these decisions for the whole state. However, he's putting his guidelines out there, and counties are choosing to follow them. And counties have that authority to choose to follow those things too. I think it's pathetic that many of them are, because his plan is stupid. But at the end of the day, things are being handled the way they should be in a lot of ways in Illinois, as far as who's making the decisions. And it's not the governor. He thinks he is, and a lot of the citizens think he is. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your local county health departments and things. They're the ones doing it, and because they're too lazy to just come up with their own plan, are just following whatever the governor says. And a lot of that too is because a lot of them are worried that he might cut off state funding for things. I talked to our local sheriff, and the state has been holding back funds on a lot of things already, and they're suffering as a result. The the county jails and things. They're not getting prisoners moved that need to be moved, and they're having to deal with all these expenses. He was telling me how he's been, basically paying all these doctor bills, taking care of somebody in the jail who's sick, who's supposed to be in prison, but the prisons aren't taking them because they don't want to overpopulate the prisons because of COVID and everything. So the county's left paying the bill, and they don't have the money for it. And so then, if he is the county sheriff who agrees that our governor is an idiot and his policies are stupid, if he is too open about ignoring what the governor says, the governor could hold off state funding from our county, and then he's really in trouble. So there's been a lot of dirty politics going on in Illinois with our governor. Thankfully, with counties like ours where we live and towns like ours, we're kind of flying under the radar in a lot of ways. And our leaders, I think, are doing a very good job. But it's not without our governor doing everything he can to make it difficult. But thankfully, we do have good leaders who actually care about law and are looking into these things. And when he pushes something that is illegal or unconstitutional, people are standing up against it. The problem is the ignorant masses are just going along because the news media says so.
Right. Now, you have yourself attended and spoken out several times and at several events. Have you faced any backlash personally or within your church for doing that?
No, our church has been very supportive, and things are fine here. We get the occasional. Early on, we were getting we got a couple phone calls. We had a couple knuckleheads that wanted really one knucklehead that kept wanting to come by and check on us to see if we were having services, and had to run him off a couple times. The police got called on us one time when we were at our old building. But once President Trump declared churches essential, that got it in most individuals' heads that people are allowed to have church. So, the news media hasn't done a real good job of getting the news in our area that technically we're supposed to be, back to a 10-person capacity and all that kind of thing. And so nobody thinks anything of us having service because we've been doing it. We haven't stopped. And it's just normal on Sundays to see our parking lot full of cars. And there's been an individual here and there, mainly from when we're out door knocking, that, we'll say something and like question it. And we just act like it's fine and totally legal. And because technically it is. And I don't know, maybe people are calling the cops and they're just not doing anything. I don't know, but we haven't had any trouble out here at all. And so I'm very thankful for that. And I helped reelect some of our leaders when I went to the ballot box because of those very things. Those who were against staying open and against the Constitution, I voted against. And thankfully, one of our, U.S. representatives in our area, it was a liberal Democrat, pro lockdown, pro everything that's garbage. She got voted out, and I'm thankful for that. And so I think our county, our area, did very good in how they voted this last election. I was very thankful to see that, and made me feel pretty good.
Now, you are only a couple hours away from some of the major cities in that area that are facing a lot of this backlash, such as riotings and protests and stuff like that. Has that affected you guys any in Rock Falls?
No. Thankfully, we're far enough away from the crazies. They don't really do anything over here. Even when it got real bad, when there was a lot of chaos going on, when there was even talk about going to rural communities and burning places down and stuff, nothing ever happened out here. I don't even think we've so much as had any graffiti anywhere on anything. So, our population is just a little more civilized because it's when people get in packs that things get out of control. And don't get me wrong, we got some dirtbag lowlives in our area, but there's not enough of them for them to feel like they have any power. So, they behave themselves. And if they want to act like the fool, they know they're going to probably have to go to the city to get away with that. You know, we've got too many people packing out here.
Right. And also, I mean, so it's just another example how the media is, or mainstream media is over-exaggerating everything.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. You know, any protest. Well, for one, I haven't seen any kind of organized protests or anything in our whole area. There's a group that used to have protests every now and then. They'd have it out by the post office, and anytime you'd see it, there'd be like 6 people out there at the most. But they haven't even done anything this year. And yeah, I mean, it's just, that's probably one of the reasons I was so wrong in the outcome of this election. You know, I'm kind of judging things based on our community and the way it is out here. And, you know, it's different in rural country than it is in the city. Unfortunately, cities just have us greatly outnumbered. So you don't always get an accurate perception of the country as a whole when you live in a rural country.
Now, just to clarify for viewers here, at the time of this recording, there has been no elected president as of yet. No projected. There's been a projected winner, which is President-elect Joe Biden. However, there is no declared winner. So, in your opinion, what do you foresee a Biden-Harris presidency look like?
It's going to look like Joe Biden with the stupid mask on. Foolish. I mean, you know, he's already said his first thing that he's going to do is the national mask mandate. So the thing is, you know, Joe Biden, he's so simple-minded. He's so just one-sided on things. He literally doesn't give a rip about social distancing, which was the big thing. You know, he stands there, you know, holding hands with Kamala Harris, but it's fine because they're both wearing their masks. And it's like he thinks that's the magic thing that's going to cure everybody. Now, I will say, you know, just wearing a mask is better than a lockdown. It's better than closing down businesses. But at the end of the day, if they think just sticking masks on everybody's faces is going to just fix everything, it's foolish. And I hope that's all they do. You know, I hope he does open everything back up and just, but at the same time, because at the end of the day, they're never going to be able to enforce this stupid mandate. They're not going to be able to do it. The police are not going to go ticketing people for not wearing masks, at least not out here. It's just not going to happen. And, you know, stores might crack down a little bit, but even then, it's not going to happen. I mean, literally the only place I have to wear a mask out here is Menards. Menards they're militant about it. Everyone else, they got signs all over the place. No mask, required by law to wear masks. I ignore them. I go in there. Nobody says anything, you know. So the thing that worries me about the mask mandate is the whole point of masks is to remind us that we are in a pandemic and that we are to be in submission. You know, they are submission signals is all they are. And I could foresee them dragging that out for as long as possible. The government does not like to give up authority. And once they've mandated masks, they are not going to allow us to take those off freely without us giving them something in return. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be our bodies for their vaccination. I think that's the only thing that will cause them to lift the mask mandate. And I just hope that there'll be enough rebellion in this country that they won't be able to pull this kind of stuff off. But I'm not seeing a freedom-loving, fighting citizenry. I'm seeing a bunch of just, you know, either scared little kittens or just dumb sheep will just do whatever they say. And so I think it's gonna be bad. And if we make the stuff easy for them, they're gonna keep doing more. You know, they're just gonna add to it. These people aren't gonna stop. So there needs to be some fighting back that goes on, and it starts in the local level. People need to start forgetting so much about who the president is. They even need to forget about who the governor is and start going to local leaders. Start putting the pressure on your local sheriff who gets elected, who has a lot of power, on your local health departments, people like that. they're the ones we need to be talking to and putting the pressure on, because they're the ones that are going to enforce these things. So, don't shut up about this stuff. Make some noise.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that I would be concerned with, apart from the mask mandate, is him basically saying that churches are no longer essential again.
Well, he might do that. The only reason I tend to think he won't do that is because pretty soon these sports stadiums, and owners are going to start making big stinks. A lot of these people donate to Democrats too. The movie theaters are going to start making some big stinks, and they're going to have to open those places. Now, what they'll just probably do with Biden, football games, movie theaters, they'll all be safe as long as you wear masks. So I don't know. But I've been wrong about a lot of stuff when it comes to me expect what I think they're going to do. But I think they're going to have a tough time shutting a lot of these places down for another year. So I think their magic cure is masks. I think that's what they're just going to focus on. That's Biden's big thing, is masks. He loves his mask, and he wants us all wearing them. So if they open those things up, that makes it impossible for them to close churches.
Right.
Now they try to make us wear masks in churches, but I think they're going to have a tough time sending agents to watch every church to see what they do. So, they're going to, and that's what they would have to do. I'm not saying I won't do some of this stuff, I mean, yeah, if they want to say we have to wear masks in church, well, okay, fine. But here's the thing. You can watch us going into our church, but are you going to send somebody to watch us inside our church? So now you're going to have to get a warrant to even come in. Are you sure you want to waste time doing that? You want to just come in and check on us? Are you going to stay the whole time? Because what's to say we don't put them on while you're in there? As soon as you walk out, we all take them off. These are the type of things they're going to be up against. And it can't be done. These things can't be enforced. And they at least can't be enforced if we have a large percentage of our country that will rebel against unconstitutional laws and mandates.
Right.
And the thing is, and I hate even using that word rebel, because it's not really rebellion if we're rebelling against an unconstitutional mandate. If you ask me, that's us, submitting to the higher powers,
which is biblical.
So, yeah, exactly. So, and the thing is too, we disobeyed, we went against what our governor put out there, but he got ruled unconstitutional. Therefore, we never broke any laws.
Now, I want to touch on something you brought up just a few minutes ago, and that is you feel that, all this is leading up to selling our bodies, in other words, for the vaccine. Now, we've been under many pandemics before. It seems like every election year there's a new pandemic. There's swine flu, H1N1, Ebola, you name it. What makes this one so different, and why is this vaccine being pushed so much?
Because we fell for this one. That's all there is to it. We didn't panic with all the previous election year pandemics. Nobody panicked. This time we panicked. So if when they did the original lockdown and everything, if there would have just been mass rebellion in this country and nobody would have followed it, it would have ended so fast it's not even funny. But I think they were shocked at how much everybody went along with it. I was shocked by that. When I first heard that when they started talking about pushing some of these things, I was like, man, they're going to have a war on their hands. There's going to be an uprising. When I heard they were going to try to shut down churches, I was like, man, they have no idea what they're in for. These Baptists, they're not going to go along with this. That's what I thought. I was shocked at how willing everyone was to comply. And I think they were too. So when they saw just everyone so willing to just go along with what they said, they're like, well, you know what? Now's our chance. And so they're going to take every advantage of this they can. And this thing will end when we decide it's over. Now, when the politicians will never let it end. We're still under a state of emergency because of, terrorism and 9/11. And we will never be out of this emergency until we just decide it's over as a people. And we had a chance, we had a chance in this last election, and our country voted to continue living in fear and to continue allowing the government to protect us from sickness and get more involved in our lives. And that stinks, that really, really stinks. And, I just hope that I'm wrong, that they don't continue trying to take advantage of this, and that they, start actually caring about what's right in the economy and, people's lives and their emotional and their mental health as well as their physical health, and just do the right thing and let people live their life. Even if this is as bad as they say, we can't survive as a people hiding in our basements. We have to learn how to live with it.
Well, it worked for Joe Biden during this presidential campaign.
Yeah. So, So the thing is, we've got a huge problem, and that's that too few people are making too many decisions for too many people. That's all there is to it.
Now, there are some people out there who try to push the narrative that this vaccine is a prerequisite to a mark of the beast. They want to put a chip in you, and there's all kinds of conspiracy theories out there. Is there any biblical basis to those, and can we put those to rest?
Okay, well, yeah. So here's the thing. Let's take care of a straw man who gets brought up. All right. So somebody says this is leading up to the mark of the beast. The straw man that we kill is showing how it's not the mark of the beast.
Right.
Okay. Nobody thinks this is the mark of the beast. Okay. At least I don't know anybody. I haven't heard anybody claim that the COVID vaccination is the mark of the beast. Obviously, it is not the mark of the beast. Let me say this again. A COVID vaccine is not the mark of the beast.
Right, the mark of the beast,
However,
you actually have to worship in order to get. You have to worship the beast to get the mark.
Yes. Right, there's differences. Okay, so I think it's clear. I don't think it's the mark of the beast, but in the Bible we do see that they, the powers during that time are going to have the ability to tell people that they cannot buy or sell unless they take a mark. Okay, now what would it take for the world government to get that kind of power and authority? That's something that obviously is not going to happen overnight. We're not going to have freedom in our world and in our country, and then just tomorrow night we've got the mark of the beast that shows up.
Right.
There's going to be things that lead up to that. And so the type of power and authority we're giving to the government, to where we're allowing them to tell us that we have to take a vaccination if we're going to be able to buy or sell and just do regular business, that is a massive step towards the mark of the beast. And I'm not interested in promoting any steps toward the mark of the beast. I know it's going to come. Okay. We can't stop the mark of the beast from coming. People, it's Bible prophecy that people will take the mark of the beast and they will worship it. But when that day comes, am I going to be encouraging people to go take the mark of the beast and worship the image because that's a fulfillment of prophecy? Of course not. I'm going to be telling people not to do that. And as long as our government is promoting, the seizing of freedom and liberties in a way that will make it easier for the mark of the beast to come, I'm not going to promote that. And I'm going to speak out against that. And so, yes, this is a huge step towards that. They've already told us we just can't buy or sell, pretty much unless we wear a mask, and yeah, you got the goofballs out there, mask and mark. There's a 1-letter difference, and there's foolish arguments out there, things that are goofy, but at the end of the day, let's not downplay this. This is a big step in the wrong direction.
Absolutely. So from a biblical standpoint, how should people view current events, and how should they prepare, and what mindset should they be taking?
Man, I think, because here's the thing too, we don't know this is it. We don't know that we're about to enter in the tribulation or anything like that. So, we do, we keep on standing up for what's right. What if, the mark of the beast isn't for another 100 years? Well, I'd like to, might as well be free for the next 50. So, keep standing up for what's right. Keep speaking the truth. Keep living godly. Keep doing all the things we're supposed to do. Take advantage of the fact we have freedom right now. Be going to church, be knocking on doors, be doing all the things that we've been called to do. One of the ways too that one of the ways we lose our freedom often is when we don't use our freedom, because the truth is they could pass an ordinance or a law in a lot of cities banning door knocking and banning soul winning, and no one would even notice. And imagine if you went to a city like that and they passed a law like that 20 years ago, and then all of a sudden you start a church there and start knocking doors. They're going to look at the fact that we've had this in the laws for 20 years. It's going to make it more difficult. But the thing is, because we're not taking advantage of the freedom we have, it's making it easier for them to try to take it away. One of the reasons they have a tough time with gun laws is because of the fact, one, we have a good constitution that protects us, but two, they have to have a plan on how they're going to get them out of people's homes. And that makes it really hard when you got millions of people, with a lot of guns. So we need to take advantage of that. People need to be buying guns right now. They need to be stocking up on ammo. They need to do all that stuff because they know how many guns are out there. They know how much ammo is out there. And the more that's out there, the more they realize we got a war on our hands if we do anything about this. But if we're all just like, we don't need it, we're safe right now, let's not take advantage of this liberty that we have. And it's going to make it easy for them to sneak these laws in. And then later, if you change your mind, all of a sudden you're going to find it where you can't buy a gun anymore. So, we just need to keep doing the right thing every day. We need to keep promoting the right thing every day. And ultimately, it's going to be God's people doing right, living righteously, and living godly that will help preserve freedom and preserve liberty. But if we're not doing right, and if we're participating in the wicked, it makes it that much more easier for evil people to come and take freedom away. So we just need to keep doing, a lot of this stuff has not happened yet. So let's just keep doing the right thing right now. And, and when if there's talk about against it, be a voice against it. We're not supposed to follow a multitude to do evil. We're not supposed to let the multitudes sway us and cause us to wrest judgment towards somebody who maybe is poor and somebody that's afflicted. Hey, it's just a poor person. Who cares? Let's go along with this. No, we're not supposed to do that. And so when we see our government passing bad laws, even if they're not hurting you, let's not follow a multitude to do evil. Let's speak out for the poor. Let's speak out for those who are being negatively affected and being hurt. And let's see if we can't hold this stuff off as long as possible.
Well, I think one of the most important things that people should realize as well, it's, yes, we do have a great document within the Constitution. However, it's not, God's law is above the Constitution. And even if they signed an order abolishing the Constitution, which they could do overnight, we still have the biblical right to go out there and knock the doors, to own weapons, to protect ourselves, and, to preach God's word, because that is what we are biblically mandated to do.
Right. Yeah. And I like what you said there too, though. You said, if they, abolish the Constitution. Well, here's the thing. Let's make them do that before they just violate the Constitution. We act like it's not happening. Okay. Because until then, they're the lawbreakers. They're the ones that are doing things illegal. Let's make them do it. Let's make them be honest and say, we're shredding this thing. We're abolishing it. And when they pass laws and they pretend it's going along with the Constitution, it's not. Let's not act like it is. Let's not play pretend. Okay. We're doing enough pretend playing right now, with all this goofiness. let's not pretend that. Let's make them pass these things. And then when that day comes, if they do that, well, then, we obey God rather than men. We do what the Bible says. But then at least we know where we stand.
Right.
And that's where things are weird right now, is we don't know where we stand because, our Constitution, it gives us protection so we can follow the Bible. Yet these people are coming along saying we still have the Constitution. Joe Biden's going to go and swear to uphold the Constitution, but then he's going to pass stupid laws that violate that Constitution. Let's at least be honest. And if if you hate it that much, then you know what? Abolish the Constitution, declare us criminals, declare us lawbreakers, and then we at least we know where we stand. But you know what? They're not going to do that, because if they did that, if they took it that far, then they might get that uprising that they're worried about.
Well, I know one thing, and I'll state this till I'm blue in the face. I would rather spend, years in prison for standing up for God than a lifetime with freedom and not standing up for God.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. We need to be, we need to be ready to take a stand. And, people act like, this is just a political battle. I'm focused on the biblical battle. Well, here's the thing. How many churches are not going soul winning now because, they're telling them not to go door to door. They're not having services now. They're not exhorting the brethren. They're not edifying one another. They're not doing the things that they should be doing, because of the government. They've made it into a spiritual fight when they started messing with churches. And that's all there is to it. If it was just the mask mandates, if it was just the social distancing, if it was just the shutting down of businesses, I don't agree with that stuff, and I still think that was wrong. But again, they crossed the line, big time for sure, when they started messing with churches.
Absolutely.
Our founding fathers understood they had no place,
right,
and they had no business doing that. But our current leaders don't understand that, and they did. They majorly crossed the line there. And so, if churches and pastors are speaking out against them right now, I don't know why we wouldn't be. They crossed the line. They got in our territory, and we've always been respectful when it comes to their areas of authority, and we've not gone and tried to arrest people and execute people and do all the things that we think they should be doing, even though they don't. There's a lot of stuff our government does that I do not agree with how they are doing it, but I leave it to them. That's their place. It's not my problem. But then when they're going to tell us how we can worship, they're going to tell us if we can worship, things like that, we got a big problem.
Right, but here's the thing. How long and how many churches are going to have to endure this persecution? How many churches and church members are going to have to be shut down, church members be arrested for even attending a parking lot service, for singing in church, for going out soul winning? I mean, how long before people actually rise up and realize that this is wrong and do what's right? Because it seems like everyone's seeing this going on, and they're just taking the back seat, like, oh, it's just a few churches, not a big deal. Mine church is still good, but I mean,
well, yeah, I can't answer that question because I thought there was going to be an uprising in April. The fact that it hasn't happened yet, it's very concerning, to me. And so yeah, I don't know what it's going to take.
I think people need to stop being scared, and I think that's exactly what it is. They're being scared into compliance. They're being scared by media, by politicians, and saying that if you do this, you will be arrested. You know what? Who cares? If you're arrested, guess what? You got your tax dollars at work. You got 3 hots and a cot. You're not going to go starving, But as long as you're arrested for the right reasons, who cares? Stand up for what's right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to go to jail at all, but at the same time too, I refuse to live my life in rebellion against the scriptures and in submission to an overreaching government who is abusing their power that they have. They do not have the power to do the things that they're doing, and I'm not gonna pretend they do. You know, the head of the church is Jesus Christ, not Governor J.B. Pritzker. And if J.B. Pritzker tells us we can't have church, I'm not going to play games and pretend he's the real pastor and the real head of the church. You know, I'm going to completely ignore it. And in the meantime, you know, if they were physically assaulting us, you know, if it comes to the point where we get physically assaulted by the police, you know, I would definitely probably change some things, you know, because for example, you know, there's a reason they used to have church in caves and things like that, because they were hiding from the government. Right. You know, I'm not going to ask for a ticket. I'm not going to beg to rack up a bunch of fines and things like that. So, you know, we have tribulation protocol level 1, 2, and 3 at our church. And, you know, if we have to go to a tribulation protocol 3, which is where we are meeting somewhere in secret, that's what we'll do. You know, but in the meantime, we haven't been physically assaulted. We haven't been legally harassed yet and threatened with tickets and things like that. So there's been no reason at all for us to change anything that we're doing. So we haven't changed a thing. We're doing what we're doing, and it probably won't start with us being physically assaulted by the police. It will probably start with just government harassment with threats of fines and things like that. And if it does that, you know, we'll have to make a decision. You know, if the fine is really, really not that big of a deal, you know, maybe we'll just pay the fine, or maybe we'll fight it in court, or maybe we'll just choose to not let them know what we're doing and meet secretly somewhere so they can't find us. You know, that we've got options out here. We've got places we can go. We've got things that we could do. And I don't think they've got the resources right now to, you know, keep up with everything that we're doing, so they can give us whatever fine and keep us from eating together. So, you know, we're being responsible. You know, the people in our church are adults. They, you know, they're coming to church at their own risk, you know, and there's some that are high risk that choose not to, and that's fine. I respect that. I agree with their decision, you know, but then there's others where they're looking at the numbers, they're looking at the percentages and the likelihood of them dying from this, and they're saying, I'm going to church. And so I you know, we're going to have that. I'm not worried when it comes to me, when it comes to my family. I think we're pretty safe, you know, and so but if there's somebody in the church that doesn't feel safe and they're higher risk, yeah, I got no issues with them, but we're all adults. Okay. We don't need big brother government, you know, protecting us from this stuff. We can take care of ourselves.
Right. All right. Well, I do want to say thank you for coming on the show today.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you have a Patreon or anything like that, or PayPal, where people can support you and your church if they feel they need to, or, you know, if they feel they want to?
We've got a link on our website where you can donate. If you just go to the homepage on our website, givemelibertybaptist.com, you can see it on there. Or if you go on our YouTube channel, there's links to it there, youtube.com/givemelibertybaptist. So it's not hard to find.
Absolutely. And I urge everyone to go there and support Liberty Baptist and Pastor McMurtry. Also, like, subscribe, and share these videos if you like them. Even if you don't like them, you know, dislike them. But still, watch them, get them out there, because this is important information. Also, you can support me on Patreon as well. Link is going to be in the description. Also, we also have merchandise, such as T-shirts, DVDs like Being Baptist and Censored War on Free Speech, which is very relevant to times of today. And again, thank you very much for coming on today, and God bless.
God bless.